Hey everybody, Trevor Nelson here. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Hey Nonprofits Raise More Money. I hit Jason in between the eyes with a really cool question today. He had no idea what we're going to talk about. And of course, I knew some gold was going to come out of it. I hit him with, hey, I'm a nonprofit. We have an event this Saturday. It's Monday. Oh my gosh, there's 10 other events happening on the same evening in my town. What do I do? Jason had a classic example. He's, well, if you've done what you're supposed to have done since your last fundraiser and set yourself up for success for this one, well, then you don't need to stress at all about this one. So really hope you enjoy the episode. Share this with somebody that could get some value out of it. Really glad you tuned in for this episode. Hope you enjoy it. Hey, everybody. It's your old friends, Jason and Trevor here. Full disclosure, 0 notes, 0 pre-production. I just wanted to hit Jason with something that I saw in my community that I know a lot of folks see because we've heard about this. It's not a gripe or a complaint, but we've heard about this being a reality in other communities. And I wanted to get Jason's take, unvarnished take, with, once again, just no pre-production. He has no idea
what he's going to say to me.
And that's I think that's where the goodness of this episode is going to come from. So thanks everybody for tuning in. But so I wrote down some notes. And I'm just like, we're role playing here, okay? And I go, hey, okay, Jason, I'm calling in. I run a nonprofit. And we have an event in our community, and it's this Saturday, okay? And come to find out, there are 8 other events happening on the same exact night in our community. Oh my gosh, what have we done? What can we do? And does it change anything?
Well, if it's this coming Saturday, okay, the day we're recording this is Monday, and it's coming up Saturday, and you're worried about it now, it's too late to do anything.
There you go. So don't stress about it at all.
Well, no, but why would you stress about it in the first place? You had the date on the here. You're getting your people. You're doing your pre-events. If you're doing your pre-event fundraising, that means tables and ticket sales. It won't matter.
You've already done the work.
You've already done the work. They're all going to come. Do you think they're all going to just buy a table, buy a ticket, and just not show? There may be some go to another event, but they don't cross over like that most of the time.
So you're saying don't stress out about that competition of evenings.
Well, I think you should give it consideration before you ever start your fundraising, before you ever set a date and do all that. I mean, I think that's something to consider. But if you're waiting until a week before and you go, golly, I didn't know there were going to be 7 other events. Well, it's too late to do anything about it now.
It doesn't matter.
Because you've already spent all the money. You've done all the work. You've done everything to get everybody there. But it happens all the time. You can't pick a day of the week. There's not a fundraiser somewhere. So trying to say, well, I don't want to compete with this or I don't want to compete with that. You should have already known, because your pre-event fundraising would have, if it was going to affect it, it would have affected it pre-event fundraising.
Get into that a little bit.
Okay. So here's the thing. Let's say that you've got to raise $100,000 in pre-event fundraising. I'm just picking the number random.
Very easy.
And you hit your number. Nothing to worry about.
You got nothing to worry about. Yep.
Because you did the homework, you put the time in, you went and sold the tables, you've got the underwriting piece in place. It doesn't matter. Now, if you're 4 months out and you start your fundraising and everybody says, oh man, hey, I'm sorry, I can't go because I've got this other event going on. Well, maybe you need to, maybe that's going on. And, a little recon would help to know what's going on around you. But even there, I don't think it matters. I just don't. I think that if you have done the work, you've got your messaging down. If you're a brand new event, different thing. But if you've been doing the same event at the same time for the last 5, 10 years, 15 years, it's not going to matter unless you suck. And what I mean by that is, when I say you suck, is because you don't put in the time and the work and you just think it's just all going to fall together. But that's just not what fundraisers do. I mean, you're going to know. Mm-hmm. And now what I do think is I think people use it as an excuse. I think they use it as an excuse because they do suck. And I think they use it as an excuse.
And suck is synonymous with lazy, not picking up.
Yeah. I mean, this didn't do the work.
Didn't thank people after the last event properly. Didn't have a planned gratitude approach there.
Well, somebody waits till 30 days before their event and they start trying to sell some sponsorships. Yeah, I can't get it done. Well, of course you're not going to get it done. You should have been thinking about that 6 months before.
Yeah.
Because everybody always goes, what's a really good timeline? Well, it kind of depends on your event. But when should you start planning for your event? The day after the one you just finished. The day after.
Say that again.
You should start planning your fundraiser, your next fundraiser, the day after you finish one. If you did your event on Sunday or on Saturday, you can take Sunday off, but on Monday, you need to start planning. And the first thing, gratitude. You start going through your planned gratitude plan. We've talked about that, done episodes on it, where you have a plan of gratitude that you're going to thank people 7 times before you ask them for money again. You're going to reach out to the people that came, the big stakeholders, and go meet with them. What did you like? What did you not like? Tell me what you thought about this. A lot of times they'll go, wow, hey, you know what? I literally sat in a limo. We had gone to the event and a guy said, I love what you guys are doing. Let's blow it out next year. And he was a $50,000 sponsor. They'd never had more than a 10. He gave $50,000.
Awesome.
And for the next year. And, he did it for, 5-6 years. He was the key sponsor. And I think that what we miss out on is because, everybody gets to the end, they finish up, then they take a breath, and then they go on to something else, because most organizations are small.
Yep.
That doesn't mean that you've got to still work at the same pace that you do. That last 30 days before an event are just hard. They really are. There's not a whole lot you can do that's going to alleviate that stress and pressure and the things that come with that. It just is what it is. But what can make that effort, that stress, that effort, that pressure to be worth it, to pay dividends, is what you do in the other 325 days or 335 days, which is, planning, talking to stakeholders. You met some people, you had some people show up and spent money that you'd never met before. Go meet with them. You had somebody who's really been, last couple of years, they've really been great. They've been showing up. Go meet with them, not to ask them for money. Go ask them what they think. Get their feedback. They're stakeholders for you. Go talk to your board. What went well? What didn't go well? And be honest. Hey, we did this thing. We tried to do this and it kind of sucked.
And ask for
get feedback.
Yeah.
Because number one, they like having a voice. And if they don't have time, they don't want to, they'll tell you, you know what, it was
also
great.
Paid for that voice. They've paid for that.
But you're going to get people whenever you give them the opportunity. They are going to give you information that's invaluable to you.
Yep.
And you start setting things up and talking to them about it, and they start getting involved.
Yeah.
This may be somebody, you may have a buyer that winds up being your new committee chair.
Yeah.
Maybe your past committee chair said, kind of got a little weak at the end. How do we not do that next time? All these things matter, but you don't need to work 40, 50, 60 hours a week on your fundraiser for 52 weeks out of the year. But if you just work a couple of hours,
there you
go.
And I'm going to use an example that happened to me personally. And the people are lovely. The committee were lovely. The principal of the school is lovely. When we go to an event, we buy a table and we donate our time, and I want to say we bought like 5 cases of champagne, and I actually got a volunteer and poured champagne when folks got in to the event. I bought dessert for the table, and I donated an item because we just happened to be in that space. Yeah. And the event's coming up, and not one phone call going, hey, would you like to buy a table again? Hey, thanks a lot. I mean, I don't require that. You know me. I don't go, hey man, geez.
Bro, I've got a great story just almost exactly like it.
Yeah.
I did an event. I was actually the auctioneer for the event, volunteered to do it. Got up there. We were buying defibrillators.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember how much they were a piece, whatever it was. It was about doing the defibrillator thing. And I asked for money, and I just kind of felt moved at the moment. And I gave a significant gift. 5-figure, biggest donor I was the number one donor in the room. And I'm not saying that to pat myself on the back. I'm saying it to set it up exactly what you said.
Yeah.
I did all this stuff. And the only phone call I got after that was, how are you going to pay?
Well,
that's it. Never got another call.
Yeah.
Nothing until the executive director called me, or the CEO called a couple of years later going, hey, so-and-so came to our event and I think you know him. He gave $5,000. Well, I think I gave $15,000 the night I did, and they didn't call me. Yeah. It just didn't feel good. So, going back to the thing, if you've done all your homework, though, the original question, if you've done your homework, if you've sold all your tables out, you've sold your underwriting, you've hit your pre-event fundraising goal, which should be 70% of your total. okay? Not gross, net.
Yeah.
So if you're wanting to, raise $150,000, $125,000, you need to raise about $100,000 before you walk in the door, net dollars. Maybe you've got $50,000 in expenses. That means you've raised $150,000, okay, to cover all that. And you've done it. I don't care how many events are going on. You're the one that everybody else is worried about. You're the event that everybody else is worried about.
Yeah.
But if you get there and you're like, wow, man, I don't know if anybody's going to show up. There's a bunch of other events. It's not because there's other events. It's because you didn't do your job prior to you didn't. Yeah. I mean, you just let it down. Yeah. And in today's fundraising, you cannot mail it in. You just can't.
Well, full disclosure, we're recording this on February 3rd. It's right.
Fundraising season just got started. I mean, we're doing, 100 events a weekend.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah. So it's something that was top of mind. I heard some folks talking about it. You and I have been on the webinar. We've done calls with folks where they've been like, oh, yeah, but that event's going on the same weekend. Oh, my gosh, what do we do? And I think that you and I would both go, you can pick up the phone.
Yeah. Yeah. The chances that, and in small communities, it does make a difference.
Sure.
If in certain small communities, or if you've got a really, there are certain towns that have what I would call a significant fundraising. What's the word?
Like a donor class or what have you?
Like a donor class. Yeah. They really have this group. You see them at all the same events. And then there's some that's all broken up. I live in the city I live in, Oklahoma City. It's really broken up. You don't really see all the same people at all the same events. Now, so few of them, but you could have 10 events on the same night. It wouldn't matter because they're just different.
I have another question for you about that. What do you think? Because I actually heard some folks talk about this. I was having lunch with someone that's on a board of a conservation organization, a pretty large state conservation organization. And he said, we talk to the other organizations in our area and give each other the courtesy because we're all friends. At least try to be we try to be friends. If someone wants to be adversarial, that's their problem. But we actually talk and communicate and plan around those times. So we're not necessarily pulling from the same pools on the same evening.
I think it's insanity that people don't do that. And I think that all these nonprofits think that they're competing against each other. And to some extent they are. There is some competition there. But it's not the same thing as a gas station competing against another gas station or a donut shop against another donut shop. It's not the same.
Yeah.
Because you could have somebody who goes to one event and is an underwriter for two other events on the same night. It didn't matter. Yeah, they didn't go to your event, but they gave you a $5,000 check to underwrite something. And because you had an opportunity for them to give, because they'd already committed to something else.
Yeah.
I just think that, it's almost like we could do a whole nother session on this. But so one of the things that I always think is hilarious to me is when somebody comes, there's, let's say, an executive director from another organization happens to be at your event and they're over there talking to one of your donors. I've said so many times, like, why is she over there talking to my donor? That's my donor. Like, no, he's not. He's not your donor. You don't own him. He's been given to her organization too for the past 10 years.
So this also does blend into this conversation.
Yeah. I mean, it's doesn't hurt anything just because they've got one donor, they'll do multiple events. Yeah. They'll help multiple organizations. Most people in the philanthropic world support more than one organization. Maybe not to the same degree, but again, if you're waiting till the week before your event to think about it, it's too late.
Yeah, good call. Yep. Yeah. I hope that was a decent question. I just came up with it over the weekend.
No, it's a great question because I think that's the whole point of you've got to fundraising, always be fundraising. You've just got to start the day after and thanking people. Because I will tell you this, and this is a fact. I've witnessed it multiple times. Well, just like I said, I had somebody who did that. They didn't ever call me back except to say, how are you going to pay? And it was the next day.
Yeah.
But I said, well, I've got the check made out right here. You want to come by and get it? I mean, but my point is they will go where they're thanked. They will go to the organization who appreciates what they're doing.
Not even a question.
I guarantee you. And it is such a game changer when you're reaching out to them and just saying, hey, I just want to call and say, thank you so much. You really made a big difference in what we did.
Yep.
and somebody goes, well, we sent out an email.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. And you
We're
should.
not saying don't send out emails. We're not saying
You
that.
know, you should send a text message, an email, write a note.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you can break it down. I'm not saying that you've got to send everybody that gave you $50 that you've got to do that with, but you do need to, people that are bigger, you really got to reach out to them and talk to them. It makes a difference.
People that give at that level are not dull, and they remember these things.
They do.
And I remember.
Well, here's the thing. I'll tell you, this is the deal. They may not hold it against you that you didn't call, but they dang sure remember the ones that do call.
Yep. Yep. How about the Jan Peary example where I believe it was her, where a friend of yours, where you gave, but that she had never met Teresa, if I recall your wife, if I recall the story correctly, and then her name was on the check, and she made a point to thank you both.
Yeah, yeah. She wrote a personal note on there, and it said it was a typed out letter, but then she wrote a special little note. Yep. Teresa and Jason, thank you so much. We really appreciate all your generosity.
And I know your wife, and I know she remembers things like that.
Oh, it really bugs her whenever we get something in the mail and it's addressed to me. If it's from a nonprofit, it really bugs her.
Yep. Yep.
Because she said, I know my name's on the check.
Yeah. This might be my book, man. You have your book coming out this spring, but this might be my book about, we're in the hospitality business, and I don't care. It's how you made people feel.
Yeah, totally.
How did you make people feel? And they remember that, man. I'm telling you what, makes them come back. That's for sure.
Oh, it really does. And that's the thing is people they may not hold what you don't do against them, but they remember what you do.
No question.
And, and it comes time, the next time you make that phone call, have your token stored up, that thank you, that gratitude bucket where they're happy to take your call. Yep. Absolutely. We want to do that. Yeah, it was a great time. We really enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah. So how about the psychology, just to double click on that, what you mentioned, the psychology of they're going to take your call because they know that you're not just picking up the phone to ask them for money.
I think it makes a huge deal. I've sat with people before and they go, oh, wonder what she wants. Yeah. It wasn't because I know and then I've been with other people. Yeah, they're calling me for a check.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to get yourself in that position. Don't paint yourself in that corner. Make sure that other cup is.
And here's the thing I want to say. I know whenever we talk about this, people hear this and they go, I don't have time. You just don't understand. I've got, it's me and a part-time person and a part-time volunteer. I promise you do have time.
Yeah.
I promise you. If you will do simple time blocking, look it up on the internet if you don't know what time blocking is. And part of your daily time that you put out is just called gratitude calls. It can be 15 minutes. Call 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to make it a long conversation.
Hey,
Trevor, I just wanted to reach out and say thank you so much for everything that you've been doing for our organization. And I just want you to know that it means the world to me personally and to our organization. And I just want to say thank you.
It's beautiful. Those folks aren't getting a lot of those calls. I got to be honest.
No, they're not. Yeah. And if you leave a voicemail, now this is something, and we heard this from the phone lady, leave a longer voicemail because it converts to text now and everybody reads it. They would appreciate that.
There's power in voiwant.
Very, very good, powerful.
Exactly what
you don't need to try to, no need to call me back unless you just want to.
Yeah, great.
But I just wanted to let you know how much I appreciate everything you've done for our organization. It means something to me personally, to the organization, and because of you, we were able to send 3 kids to camp.
Yep.
Something like that.
Love it. So good. Yeah. Hey, if you want to talk about time blocking, if you want to talk about pre-event fundraising, go to hgafundraising.com. It's a good time just to tell folks, hit the free resources and click the coaching link. It's free coaching. You can sign up for time with Jay. You can go over time blocking, plan gratitude, pre-event fundraising, the approach that you need to have to make sure that you're not stressed out if there's 10 events happening in your community on the same night as yours. Anything under the sun fundraising, take us up on our offer. Our time's free. Jason's time's free. And sign up for some free coaching.
Yeah, there's no strings attached. I don't care if you use our stuff or not. That's not the case. I love doing this kind of stuff and spending this kind of time with people because it's, we get a lot of experience at doing it. So we're happy to share.
100%. Well, thanks, brother. Thanks for letting me throw a curveball at you with no notes.
I had no idea. It's funny. I'm glad it was something I could have some context to, but I didn't have any idea. So I knew
it'd be good. It's just something that's in the water right now that we're hearing from different organizations and whatnot. We don't want them to stress. So good stuff, man. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Do us a favor, share this with someone in your network. We're so glad that you tuned in today, and we'll see you all next time.
Thanks, Trevor.
That was a good episode. Am I wrong? I thought it was awesome. Once again, I hit Jason with that one in between the eyes, just wanted to see what he would say about making sure that you have the right approach for this year's fundraiser. You're not stressing if there's 10, heck, if there's 20 other events happening on the same evening. If you've done what you're supposed to do since your last fundraising event, you are going to be successful at this one, and folks are going to show up and show out for your mission. I wanted to take a second and just let you know we have some exceptional free webinars coming up. The next 2 Thursdays, February 6th, we're going to be joined by our dear friend, Amy Myers, and her colleague, Susanna Doyle, to talk about pre-event fundraising, how to get money committed before you even have the doors open for your event, and pre-committed dollars for the fund a need, how to go about doing that missions moment, the fund a need, the ask at the end of the live auction, for instance, that you have at your event. So that'll be awesome. That's this Thursday, February 6th. And then another one I'm super tickled about. The phone guru, Kel Haney, is going to join us Thursday, February 20th. These episodes are kicking off at what would that be? 2 p.m. Eastern each time. The HJ free webinar series rolls on February 6th, pre-event fundraising dollars in the door with Amy Myers, Susanna Doyle, Jason, myself. I'll be there just to take some notes and learn something. And then February 20th, Kel Haney, the phone guru, with regard to nonprofit fundraising, will be joining us February 20th. Make sure that when you get the email, you sign up or go to one of our social platforms. There'll be a registration link to save your spot. We hope to see you there. Have a great day.